Web services are special components that make your C# methods available on the Internet in a standardized way. Because web services all work to the same standard, they can be used by any program, even programs written in an entirely different programming language. Web services are one of the key components of AJAX, as they allow the JavaScript code on your web pages to interact with the C# code on your web server. To begin this lesson, open the StableBase project from your sample files folder. You're now going to add a new web service to this project. Right-click StableBase in the Solution Explorer and click Add, New Item. Now click Web in the left-hand pane and scroll down and click Web Service in the central pane. In the name box, type newsservice.asmx and click Add. Your new web service is created and opened. A web service is simply a class that extends the system.web.services.webService class. The web service already contains a method named Hello World. Let's test your new web service now. Right-click newsservice.asmx in the Solution Explorer and click View in Browser from the shortcut menu. A page appears showing a summary of your web service. Click the Hello World link at the top of the page. A summary of the Hello World method is displayed. Now click the Invoke button to run the Hello World method. A new browser window opens showing the XML code that was output by the web service. This XML code conforms to the SOAP standard. Web services expose their interface and return information using the SOAP protocol. SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. All web services use the SOAP standard, so every web service transmits information in the same way. ASP.NET web services are capable of returning information in both XML and JSON formats. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. When using SOAP to implement AJAX, JSON is a better alternative to XML and has largely replaced it because it is simpler to use with JavaScript. You'll learn more about JSON later in this session. JSON information is still transmitted using the SOAP protocol in exactly the same way as the XML code that you see here. Any SOAP-compliant program that calls the Hello World web method will be able to read this XML code and determine that the method returned a string with the value Hello World. Close your web browser now and return to Visual Studio. You're now going to add a new web method to the web service that will extract news items from this project's database. Add the method using the following code. web method public string get news using stable-base data context data equals new stable-base data context return data.news.select news lambda news.newsText .toArray. This method retrieves all news data items from the project database, allowing them to be accessed via the web service. It's important to note that you must always prefix web service methods with web method in order for them to be available as part of the web service. Note that because web methods need to be accessible to any programming language, they can't use any of ASP.NET's advanced classes as arguments or return values. All major programming languages are compatible with basic variable types, such as int and string, so these can be used freely. Web methods are able to make use of arrays, but not list objects or other advanced collection types. These limitations only apply to the arguments and return values of web methods. You can still use any C# code within the method itself. Now build the project. You must build the project in order for your web service to work correctly in the next lesson. You learned about building projects in Lesson 1.4. Now close Visual Studio and you've now completed Lesson 8.1. Create a web service.